Billy with Bass Anglers Anonymous. Welcome to my channel. In this video we go over some ways to read and adjust your Fishfinder to help you put some more fish in the boat during the cold winter months or anytime the fish are deep. It's a lot easier when they're shallow in the warmer months because bass relate to cover. You can see a lot more of the cover on the banks and stuff. But once they pull out to the deeper water, they do still relate to cover, but you got to be able to find that, and the Fishfinder is your eyes underwater. So sit back, relax, and hopefully pick up some things that you may not have known, or you just didn't realize, or you forgot. And if you love bass fishing content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I can keep putting out the videos. All right,
okay guys, welcome back, and gals. So when it first powers up, it takes a little while to power up, but once it does, it just tells you that you can't rely on this product for your primary source of navigation. So you just hit enter, and then you go to menu. You come all the way down here to Sonar options, and then come down. Okay, no, go to settings at the very bottom, and then go to simulator, and then make sure that box, you check that box right there, and that basically shuts off the transducer and starts simulating the way that this is going to work when you're out on the water. So, and a lot of these tricks are for any fish finder. A lot of it is basically a lot of the same stuff. I mean, the tips and stuff that they tell you in here are for all of these. And there's different settings, different different options and stuff when you start to get up to the higher end models. But this one right here, it works great for a smaller application, smaller lakes and stuff like that. So let me adjust this camera just a little bit. There we go. So not everything you see obviously is going to be a fish, and the way I'm going to break this this video up is in sections. So I can't make the video too long, so what I'm going to do is make the first part the settings and stuff. There's no point of even looking at any of this stuff if your settings are incorrect. So I'm gonna go over some of the settings, and then the next one will go over what a fish is on there, what they look like, what could possibly be a fish, and which ones are more than likely bass, which ones are inactive, which ones are probably more active, and which ones are probably not bass. And then after that we'll go over what the cover is. Is it grass, is it rock, is it a bush, what is it? So we'll go ahead and check that out. And on the simulator they do it real deep, so that way it gives you the whole screen to check it out, instead of if it was to right here you'd only get half the screen to check it out. So they give you the whole thing. So this first video we'll do the tips and tricks. Okay, so when you first get powered on in here and everything, you can use auto sensitivity. The problem with the auto sensitivity is it doesn't give you, it doesn't allow you to set it where you like it. And the way it goes is the higher the sensitivity, the better your fish arches are gonna. You're gonna see the fish arches, and you're gonna see a lot of the cover on the bottom. But the more clutter you see on the screen as well. So you kind of got to find that happy medium that you like. So in order to do that, you have to adjust it yourself. But before even messing with any of the settings at all, you need to go here to your range. Now your range, you can put it on auto, and it'll take you to to where you want. But if you know for sure that your lake is no deeper than 30 feet, put it on 30 feet or 40 feet. Just maybe like 10 feet past what the deepest part of your lake's going to be. And the high chirp is the high chirp has a lot to do with a lot of different things. Mainly what the chirp is about is it helps separate the fish from the bottom. It helps you determine what's a fish and what's not. It helps pull when there's fish this close to the bottom, it helps put a space underneath there so you can tell that it's actually lifted off the bottom. Some of the other fish finders, when a fish is that close to the bottom, it actually makes it just touch, because it can't put that under there, and it sends, like, I think it's like 8 different signals or something down there to try to help, locate what is a fish and what's not a fish. Hey, be quiet. So, I keep it on high chirp, and then your ping speed. Your ping speed is how fast the signals hit the bottom and come back. So, if you're, the higher the ping speed, it's basically what it is. It's the reading. How fast your screen is going. How fast you're going. So if you're going to be hauling buns across the water, you're probably going to put it on the fastest. If you're gearing it down a little bit and you're just you're idling, you're not idling, but your boat's not on plane and you're just kind of cruising through looking, then you might want to put it on fast. Now when you have your trolling motor, when your big motor's off and you have your trolling motor on, then your trolling motor set on high, then you can put it on normal, and then if you're really going slower and trying to pick stuff apart, then you would put it on slow. Slowest is kind of when you're just sitting in one spot. You can use that, but you got to be going real slow when you're moving. But you can mainly what's for is when you're sitting in one spot. It's more going to be for like a slow drift, or if a fish is actually swimming under it. That'll help. So I usually just keep it on normal, because I use this on my pontoon boat, and it doesn't really go that fast. So okay, so some of the sonar options you have here is noise rejection. I like to keep that off, and the reason why is because it gives you it gives you better clarity on your screen when you don't have the noise rejection on, and I don't know why that is, because the noise rejection you would think would keep some of the clutter off your screen, but the Fishfinder performs better when the noise rejection is off. Again, I don't really know exactly why, but if you can, if you have your transducer next to a big motor or something, then I can understand using the noise rejection. You would probably benefit from it. But when you don't have very much noise at all and you have that on, it just seems to to not read as well. The surface clarity, that's a big deal right there. How clear is the top? So most things float up to the top, and before they sink to the bottom. So there's usually a lot of clutter up top. And so if you're fishing some pretty murky water, then you're going to want to put your surface clarity on low. But if your surface clarity is very clear, then you want to put that on high, and what that's going to do is that's going to completely change your sensitivity settings. So if you put this on high, then what it does is, as soon as you put it on high, it takes your sensitivity and pulls it way down, so that way you're able to adjust it up even more, because you can use a much higher sensitivity setting in clear water. Okay, so we'll get out of here. And then the same as if you have in, your sensitivity is not going to work as well for you in murky water. So you want to put it on lower, so that way you can use the sensitivity as high as possible, but for murky water. Some of this other stuff is just stuff you guys can play around with. I definitely don't use no fish ID. The white background is what I seem to like the most. It shows up everything the most. The overlay data I always like to leave on there because it shows you basically everything, your water temperature, shows you your battery life, all that kind of stuff. So once you get that settings like that taken care of, then you can go ahead and go into your sensitivity and adjust the sensitivity. You can see the higher I put it up, the more clutter comes on the screen there. And some people use it just like that, and through the camera it may not show, but it's pretty cluttered, but you can just see all the fish through here. It's really, the yellow is the hard return, and when it shoots the beam down and it hits, that beam is able to hit and come back up real fast, and it can't penetrate it, that shows up as yellow. When it starts being able to penetrate a little tiny bit, it shows up as orange. and then when it starts to penetrate a lot through it, you know, it'll go into blues and stuff like that. And that's when, you know, if it's penetrating through a tree, it's going to show blue because it can penetrate through, you know, bushes. It can penetrate through that a lot better. So your bushes are going to show up as like these little blue things here. So you can tell that these are probably bass because there's a bunch of blue around there. So that tells you there's probably a bush. And then you see the yellow arches, which is the more solid returns, which is, you know, fish are solid. So. So that's it for the settings. So you know, I always recommend starting real high with your settings and then work your way down, so that way you can put it to where, I mean, this right here is way too cluttered, so this is where I would back it off, you know, and then get it done like that. Alright guys, so that's it for the settings. Now for the next one, we'll go ahead and check out what is a fish, what's not a fish, and that kind of thing.